And a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to Fairway to Heaven right here on Philadelphia. What's that? Are you there? You cannot hear me? I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I cannot hear you.
Hold on a second. Let's do a little quick test here. Yeah, no, I'm muted here. Hold on a second. Talk for a second.
This is Phil's first time. This is Phil's first show this week. He's trying to figure out how to do it. I don't know how to start the show.
Give me 1 second. Man. Anything? No?
Are you drunk?
No. Still nothing? Give me 1 second here.
You're muted now.
Can you hear me now? Anything? Huh. Give me 1 more second. Hello.
Start over and regroup.
Hey, hello.
Just keep it going.
Yeah. Everything says it's working. Hello. Anything? Anything? Test 1, 2. Nothing? Nothing? How about now? Can you hear me now? Give me 1 second. Try switch one more thing. Test. Test. Anything? Just bear with me. We'll figure this out here. Hello. Hello. I'm good. I think I'm good here. Let me figure this out, guys. Hang tight. Man. Amateur hour here. Amateur hour on Fairway to Heaven. I bet you this worked all along. Test 1, 2. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now I can't hear you. Hold on.
What about now? You're muted. You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell that was right there. No clue. What the hell just happened right there?
Now I'm gone. Now I'm back.
You're back? You there?
I think it's a StreamYard issue.
I think it might be because I tested it while you were off the screen and things were working, but then weren't working again. Hey, Kyle, if you're watching, can you hear us somewhat right now?
Oh, this is our first time.
Yeah. If you hear us, if you figure it out, we've got a lot of people watching right now live. It's like our highest viewed show because people love it.
They're like, look at these assholes.
Yeah, exactly. First time. He says he can hear us. I don't know what the hell that was right there. No clue what the hell was going on there. But we're live.
We're back. We're back, baby.
We're back. 6 minutes into the show. We can finally get started. Welcome to Fairway to Heaven. We're good now, supposedly. There might be a little feedback. If you guys hear that, I apologize. I don't know what's going on, so I unplugged my soundboard. We're going right off the laptop here. It's not the beer's fault to start to the show. We're here on Fairway to Heaven. I'm Phil Stiefel. This is Jason Sullivan. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow. Do the works. We're here live early today, doing it a little earlier in the night just so we can get done and enjoy our 4th of July weekend, extended weekend celebration. Good evening, Jason. How you doing?
Dude, I'm great. Obviously, a little bit of a hiccup to start the show, but like Kyle said, Rickie, man, about time.
Yeah, I mean, what is there to say, about – I feel naked, first off, because I don't have my microphone. Even though the microphone's not working, I might hold it just so it's in my hand. It's like my security blanket. Rickie Fowler finally wins last week. His comeback is complete. How great is it for the game of golf to have someone like Rickie Fowler back on top?
That tournament, I was telling people today, that tournament needed it so badly too. I mean, I hate to shit on it because it was in my hometown, but terrible tournament, terrible weather, terrible course. But you know what? The one thing to save it was Rickie, and then also having Morikawa in the playoff, I think, was huge too. So no, that was great. I mean, obviously the golf world obviously comes together for Tiger, I think, first and foremost, right? But number two, it's probably Rickie in terms of like how many people actually love Rickie, and it was great to see him.
So, the thing is, though, but how much is Rickie officially back? Because I think that's a really important thing. I was losing faith in Rickie. I definitely was, Kyle, because, Rickie has given us every reason to doubt him over even just this year's comeback. But, he started the year outside the top 100 in the golf ranking. He's 23rd in the world now. Is this a different Rickie or is this still the same Rickie? And is this, going to result in anything more than we used to get from the original Rickie? We were talking before we went live and butchered the start of this show. Like, is Rickie going to go win a major now? How much is Rickie back? Is he different? What do you think?
No, I don't think he's going to win a major, to be honest with you. And I hate that. I wish he would, but I just don't see him winning a major. I don't think he can. I mean, he can close in a week like this where he still almost tried to blow it. Like Kyle said, he struggled on 16. Even his first shot in the playoff, I mean, he got lucky that it was all on the grass that was trampled down. So that could have been a disaster. But no, I don't think he's ever going to win a major. What about you? Do you think so?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe not. I mean, you said it before, maybe a Masters, maybe if his putter gets hot. It's crazy to say I don't know if he's fully back because he's had a great season and he's played great. But the events he won, the events he's played in, a majority of them have been in the weaker fields. So we haven't even seen him in every single major this year, have we?
Not the Masters, right?
He didn't qualify for a majority of the majors this year. So it's really tough to call. But what I do think, I think you nailed it. I mean, the course itself was a disaster this week as well. And you brought it up, the rain and stuff like that happened in round 3, the weather. I don't know if you saw my post. Well, I think I texted it to you. That weather stoppage may have cost me hundreds of dollars. Yeah. I had over 550. I was at screenshot season. I had a 3rd and a 20th place lineup before that rain stoppage. And then as soon as the rain stoppage came back, everything just crapped. Every single player I had contending just crapped the bucket after that rain stoppage.
Do you think it was the rain or do you think it was your screenshot that did it?
Oh, okay. Well, it was probably my screenshot because I am the master at the screenshot screw up. That is without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, the whole entire way the course was, the tournament was run. I don't know if Rickie won or if Rickie was just the best guy in a bad situation this weekend.
Well, I think it was for sure what you just said. I mean, for the Rocket Mortgage, that was their dream scenario. He's a Rocket Mortgage guy. They sponsor him. Yeah. He's the face of the tournament. He has been since it came around. Like, that was the best case scenario for them in a crappy week. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think Detroit Country Club is a PGA course. I just don't.
I saw quite a few people talking about that over the course of the weekend on on Twitter and on social media. But do you try to find another course to move the tournament to? Is there even like they've got this little mini north central kind of Midwest
Oakland
tournament
Hills,
swing
man.
for 2 weeks?
Oakland Hills. I've been saying it from the start. I know that they probably don't want to host a tournament every year, but I mean they've hosted U.S. Opens, they've hosted Ryder Cups. I think it was the Ryder Cup in 06 or something. So Oakland Hills is the no-brainer to me. It's I just think to me that seems like the easy way to go, but I don't know. I don't know if Oakland.
I mean, you got another easy course this week, TPC Deere Run, the John Deere Classic. We'll get into a second, but I think I brought up a pretty interesting question off the air, and it kind of goes with this Rickie Fowler conversation. It's, I saw this picture and I saw this post on Twitter today, and it was a picture of a broken record with a sign on it, broken, but could be fun if fixed. And somebody posted, which golfer is like a broken record player that you'd want to see fixed because it's good for the game, because you want to see this golfer succeed, et cetera, et cetera. And I think the obvious answer would have been Rickie before this week. And I guess maybe the answer still is Rickie if we're not sold that he's fully back. Do you have a golfer you really want to see?
Before the season, I would have said Rickie and Brooks, and they both appear to be back at this point. So
yeah. I think Brooks would have been an excellent answer as well. Yeah. I was joking with you, Tiger Woods, because it doesn't clearly say whether it's got to be fixed to the swing or fix the injuries. And obviously
his leg is broken.
Yeah, his leg is literally broken. So he literally needs to be fixed like the broken record player. So the question is, is there a desire? Because there is a lot of great young talent on tour. And this week at the John Deere Classic with, what's there? One guy, two guys in the top 20. Well, one guy in the top 20, only a few guys in the top 50 in this field. The talent and level of young golf on tour doesn't even meet Tiger Woods. And I think it does still, because it's still Tiger Woods, and with elevated events and all the money that's being spent and everything that's going on, Tiger Woods being even semi-competitive would be great for the game still at this point.
No, I agree too. That's a tough call too. I was thinking about, even after you brought it up, I think the first name that comes to mind is JT, because he seems to be broken the past few months, but that's not like a long-term broken. That wasn't like a 4-year Rickie drought or 3-year Spieth drought that we saw last year or anything like that. I think another one that comes to mind is Cameron Young. Like we saw him contend in almost every major last year, and he stinks this year. So I don't know. I think that's definitely one.
Did I hear about the 18-year-old today at the qualifier? I did not. Did an 18-year-olds are, I mean, we've seen 14 and 15-year-olds qualify for events before. I don't know if 18 is anything special. I got one other name that I think would intrigue you, because you have not crushed, but you've talked negatively about this guy off the air, at least. You said that once you said Rory McIlroy might be a little overrated now at this point. I think I want to see major Rory McIlroy fixed, because I want to see Rory McIlroy. I know a lot of people don't like Rory, but because of what he did, how he put himself out there for the PGA Tour, I want to see Rory win a major. And I think there's still something broken in Rory that's keeping him from winning. He's contended, sort of. He's backdoored up the top of a leaderboard a few times in majors, but he hasn't really truly had a chance to win a major in a while. And I'd love to see Rory McIlroy win a major.
Can you say that about Spieth too? I feel like you kind of can. Like he's back, quote unquote. He's won tournaments, but like he's not the same Jordan Spieth that there once was.
Yeah, that's true. So Aldrich,
he did. I just read that. Yep.
Yeah, 345-yard par 4. Oh, hole in one. I'm reading it as I put on. I didn't even see that. I thought it was going to say drive. A hole in one. Wow, that's was that Kyle? Was that a qualifier for the John Deere Classic or a qualifier for the Open? The John Deere. Okay, that's interesting. I think it's interesting. I think you bring a great point with Cam Young being fixed. There's talk that Cam Young is not the best Young on tour. That Carson Young is the better Young at this point. He hasn't won either, but he's contending more frequently.
Well, and Cam went from being like a slam dunk Ryder Cup play to I don't think he's on right now. And
I would probably put Keegan ahead of Cam Young right now in the Ryder Cup. Sure. And we hate Keegan, but he's playing much better golf than anybody else. All right, let's jump into the John Deere Classic this week. It's another. It's a birdie fest, like you said. It's a weak field, as I said. I mean, it's tough. It's a tough week this week to be a golf fan, unless you like these kind of things. And while we don't like watching them, I think there's still money to be made this week. There's plenty of money because there's a lot of casual players that don't know the Carson Youngs, the Callum Tarrants, the Dylan Woos of the world, the Scott Pierceys of the world. They don't know these guys. And I'm going to get his name in at least 3 times today, just for you guys. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys out there that you can make money on this week. So what do we know about TPC Deere Run? Like, outside of the fact that it's going to be a birdie fest this week.
7,289 yards, par 71, birdie fest, like you said. Bent grass greens, probably going to be a putting contest, much like last week. Not a lot of trouble on the course. Mm-hmm. Probably the winning score you're looking at probably 18 under to maybe 23, 24 under-ish.
Right. We did have what's his name did win it at 27 under a few years back, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's feasible at this course. There's no trouble on this golf course. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So I looked at it also. I looked at some things that I read that, ball striking, approach play, those things are extremely, extremely important this week. That, because there's, a lack of trouble on this course, the pure ball strikers maybe have the better chance. The guys that are hot on approach. I read somewhere that every single golfer that's won this event in the last 6 years has gained strokes at least 2 or 3 weeks in a row on approach on tour. So the guys with the best approach games in recent form have had the most success. So I did zone in on that. But all these different random stats that we always talk about, and I want to ask your question or your opinion on this. I was building my model this week, and there's certain proximities on par 4s, buckets that we could play, a lot of smaller stats that we could play this week. But with a field so weak as this, where we've got so many unknown names and guys that we just don't have a lot of information on, I wanted to keep it extremely simple this week. I kept it to approach, ball striking, birdies are better, putting and around the green, and that's it. And then I'm just looking for I think approach is a little bit more than putting this week. I'm just looking for every golfer that's in the top 20 on approach and top 20 at making birdies. And I'm just zoning in on less stats this week because of the lack of knowledge on so many golfers.
So I agree with that philosophy. I did that last week. It did not work out for me, however. So I'm not going to be doing that this week. But I did the same exact thing last week at the Rocket Mortgage. I'm like, listen, this course is easy. There's no trouble. Approach, ball striking, scoring. That's pretty much it. And
I mean, I think I put in my model, I put 50% of my model on just approach and birdies are better. Like, that's a lot to put on 2 categories, one being birdies are better gained. Putting 25% on that, I mean, that's weighing your birdies a lot. But, I mean, it's going to be a crapshoot this week. Once you get out of the top, 7,500 and above, I mean, there's a lot of unknowns and a lot of risk to be played. So you just take guys that are going to score because that's kind of what you're hoping for this week.
Yeah, off the tee is another thing I think you can look at this week and pretty much every week. But I feel like guys that do well here do well off the tee. And that's not necessarily saying bombers, because you don't have to be long at this course. I mean, you've seen some of the winners at this course be short guys. But you have to be accurate if you're not long. So
All right. So let's dive into it. Obviously, it's one of those weaker fields. So, there's a lot of sticker shock at the top of the board. And I think they got a few of the names at the top of the board wrong. And I was telling you off the air, I think they got some of the pricing on the lower guys wrong as well. There's 4 guys 10K and above. Denny McCarthy is and shockingly, the most expensive golfer this week at 10-6. Russell Henley, Ludwig Aberg, and Cam Young. And quite frankly, I think they got Cam Young's number being in the 10K wrong. I know he's the most famous name in the field, and I think he's still in the top 20 barely in the world rankings. But I don't think Cam Young's playing at a 10K or above price right now.
No, I think Eric Cole should have been up and Cam Young down.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
I mean, I'm looking at early ownership percentages. Cam Young's sub 5% ownership right now. I don't know if this is the week to take a flyer on him, but I've already been talking about convincing myself to skip all these guys. Obviously, Denny McCarthy, Russell Henley seem like smart plays, but I convinced myself because, like you said, Eric Cole should have been 10K or 10-1. Just to start down at 9,700 with Eric Cole and just go from there.
Well, and there's no difference. Is there any difference between Eric Cole and Russell Henley? To me, not really.
No, not at all. They both do a lot of the same things well, too. And at least Eric Cole, we've seen a lot of Eric Cole lately. I'm pulling up Russell Henley right now.
And lower you go in the score,
he's got 4 straight top 20s.
Right.
But
he's been good. He's been good. 100% he's been good. But when you're looking at, do you play Russell Henley if the trade-off is you have to go down to the 6Ks? Because the 6Ks are atrocious.
The 6Ks are atrocious for sure. I don't know. I stay away from him because when you're also playing these top 10K guys, when you play John Rahm at 10-9 or Scotty Scheffler at 11-1, don't you normally say they got to win or at least contend to win? What's Russell Henley's ceiling?
You play those guys that you just mentioned as 100% locks in your lineup, right?
Yeah.
Like this guy's going to do good no matter what. Like you can't count on any of these guys. I mean, McCarthy's been really good lately, but can you really count on Russell Henley overall? I mean,
can you count on Eric Cole more than Russell Henley? And that's a question there because I mean Russell Henley at least has some top 10s this year. He's got a top 15 in a major this year. So what's the trade-off there with Eric Cole? Like Eric Cole might finish 40th. He might win the event. Right. Do you take that? He's going to be high owned. So is Russell Henley. Do you go for the winning upside over the consistent? Like I don't want to play someone 10-4, 10-6. That's just a lock at 15th place and not going to get much higher than that.
Yeah, it's a tough call because you're looking at two with Russell Henley and McCarthy being 20% owned too. Mm-hmm. So I'm a little bit surprised about your boy Ludwig. I thought he would be higher owned after he played really well last week. 10-1, obviously a better price tag than the other two guys. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but did he really play that much better? I mean, well, first off, I'm off on Ludwig this week because he's lost almost 7 strokes on approach in the last 2 weeks he's played. And I'm trusting the one guy, Ron Close, that I think puts out some really great stats, and him saying that you need to be gaining on approach, the last 2 or 3 events you've played in, and him losing strokes, that many strokes on approach, and losing strokes 3 of the last 4 weeks putting in a putting contest scares me away from him this week.
This is going to be a week too that's going to be weird, I think, with ownership too. So you're going to have to keep that in mind too. I think nobody feels comfortable with any of these guys, so you're going to see lineups start with the same guys. You're going to see lineups start with Cole, Shank, maybe both of those guys.
Shank, Henley, Cole right now are your top 3 projected guys. They're all projected over 20% ownership. And that's crazy.
And McCarthy's right there too. He's 19. So
yeah, and Russell Henley's at 20.6 right now. I mean, those 4 guys are. I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine, or because it's a birdie fest, because it's a lot of unknowns. Is this the week to get different and hope that a Cam Young just figures it out this week on what is obviously an easier course?
I think it is because I think in tough courses, I know I'm not the first person to say this, but in tough courses, you see the best golfers win. On Birdie Fest, you could see anybody win. I mean, would it surprise you if somebody like Nick Taylor won this event, or that's just the first name I thought of, but somebody like that, I mean, they could easily win this event for sure.
I mean, it's not like Cam Young. I mean, Cam Young's been bad. Don't get me wrong, but he's only missed 2 cuts this year. He's only missed 2 cuts dating back to the Open. He finished second at the Open last year. Since then, he's missed 2 cuts. They were the Memorial and the PGA this year. He's still hitting the ball off the tee and on approach well. It's basically been his putting that's been killing him this year, and he's still making cuts. So is there an argument to be made, the law of averages, that someone as talented as Cam Young is a worthy at least shot in the dark? Not putting him in 10 or 12 lineups, but putting him in a few of them because nobody else is.
As somebody who's been playing JT a lot lately, I could tell you, no, it's not worth it. Like it is just not worth it. Like the guy,
that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Yeah, if the guy's sucking, believe it. I don't know. I don't think I get to Cam Young this week.
All right. I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, he's not on my card. I'm just trying to make, for argument's sake, the possibility. Yeah. I mean, you look at this 9K range, Eric Cole. I think Eric Cole, when all said and done, I think Eric Cole will be the highest owned guy. I think he will push. I think he pushes 25% ownership this week when it's said and done. Like you said, he could have been in the 10K. He's 97. Adam Hadwin obviously played really well last week. Shank's going to be a top guy. Tyler Moore was a guy I liked last week a lot. He fell apart a little bit. He finished in 3rd or 4th over the weekend because he had a little bit of a comeback late in round 4. Where are you going with the rest of this 9K range then? Because, I mean, there's other names. Keith Mitchell's a good golfer, obviously. Yeah. Chris Kirk's won this year. Emiliano Grillo won for the first time in ages. He actually popped in my model. I just don't know if I could see Emiliano Grillo winning twice on tour this year.
He's been pretty damn good, though. I mean, the thing that's the most shocking about Grillo, I think, is the putting. I mean, he's 19th in this field in putting. That's insane for a guy that has been so bad putting. No, but you name the ones, like, I mean, Moore, Grillo, Shank, Cole are my 4.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
I think
Did you
can
get my
start your lanes there. You could skip those 10K guys, start in that range, and then avoid using the entire 6K range.
Did you get my Eric Cole little reference that I made before?
No, I missed it.
Eric Cole, baby. Did you get that?
Oh, I didn't hear it. I didn't hear you say it, baby.
I thought you would be.
I'm disappointed that I didn't hear it. That is true, Kyle. Grillo did finish second here last year.
He's been really good.
Yeah. So Grillo is really good. Thank Man Chatter. This is no Buffalo. Like the morning show, your opinions matter. This show, your opinions don't matter. Just so you know. Gonna throw that out there. So no USFL talk on this show, please. Emiliano Grillo, man, he's been. I'm just looking at his numbers and where he is in my model. 4th in my model, 2nd on approach in this field, 2nd ball striking, 7th birdies or better. Like you said, 19th putting, 12th good drives gain, 8th shot gain. Like he would be number 1 in my model this week if it wasn't for the fact that he's ranked 124th in the last 36 rounds around the green.
He's first in my model. That's insane to me.
He is 18th miscut the U.S. Open, but he had his win at the Charles Schwab, 5th at Mexico, 7th at RBC. I mean, he wasn't originally on my card, but he's going to be really hard to overlook.
I think you have to play him in DraftKings.
What about somebody at the bottom, like JT Poston, who he won this event before, right?
He won last year.
I'm not sure if it was last year or 2 years ago. Been playing terrible. Everything I'm reading and studying this week is that course history matters sort of, but not really a lot because of how easy it is. Is somebody that won this event, are you going to take that into account, considering he's been pretty atrocious this year?
He popped my model big time last week, and I played him, and it did not work out. So,
right. I mean, last year, at least before he won the John Deere last year, he had a 2nd, a 3rd, a 9th. He had some missed cuts, but in weaker fields, he was contending. This year, this week, I'm looking, and when I look at their histories, I'm looking at things like Punta Cana, Mexico. I'm looking at the weaker field events and trying to see which golfers played well in those weak fields.
100%. I agree.
Yeah. All right. How about when we drop down to that 8K range? Again, a lot of interesting names in here. Smalley, Yeager, Benyon, Sepp Straka, who I love this week. There's a name in here that I thought was going to have such a breakout this year that is completely kind of crapped the bed.
Seabass?
Who?
Seabass?
No.
Who's your other one?
Taylor Montgomery.
Montgomery, yeah.
I mean, he was one of those guys, those young, new, up-and-coming golfers that was trending. 5th at the Amex, 22nd at Valero. He was doing really well. 12th at Sony. I mean, there's a stretch in the fall swing where he had 5 straight top 15s. And then he's gone miscut at the U.S. Open. We haven't seen him on the PGA Tour since the U.S. Open. 41st, 65th, 50th, miscut. That's a lot of miscuts for an up-and-comer right there. But that was just
being out of his mind.
How he disappoints me. So Cam Young is disappointing a lot of people. Montgomery was my up-and-comer. And there's one of my first mispriced guys. He's been so bad. I don't think he deserves to be in this 8K range right now.
I think if he was 7,400, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. That seems way overpriced to me. I actually hate this range, to be honest with you. I know that you said you like Straka, who I do like.
I like Sepp Straka a lot this week. I think he's a really strong play. I forget where his ownership is at this point. It's under 10% for a guy that's been playing pretty solid golf. So I do like Sepp Straka this week. But outside of that, I think this range, Nick Taylor and Doug Gim have played really good golf too. But that's it in this range.
I like Nick Taylor probably the most. I was hoping that nobody else would, but they're saying 15%.
He is number 2 in my model. If Nick Taylor or if anybody's number 2 in my model, I just don't worry about ownership percentage at all. I don't think there's a reason to worry about that for somebody that pops that much in a model.
That's fair.
Okay. All right, 7K range, because this is where I think there's a lot of – what's that?
No, I was just laughing at your – okay. All right.
I think the 7K is where there's a lot of mispriced guys. I think Ches Reavie at 7,700, underpriced. Mark Hubbard, 7,700, underpriced. Dylan Wu, 7,500, underpriced. I think this is where DraftKings made the majority of their mistakes.
So you like Ches this week?
I mean, Ches Reavie's played great golf lately. So is Mark Hubbard. So is Dylan Wu. They've all played really good golf lately. And how bad some of those 8K golfers have looked lately, a lot of these guys I think could be priced in the 8Ks. It says the problem is because they're priced so cheaply, these guys are going to get Reevy's 18%, Hubbard's
Woo
13%,
is 19.
Woo is 19%. I'm saying I like these guys. I think they can contend. I bet some of them to win. The problem is 7K guys at 19% are pretty scary.
Yep. No, I agree with you.
So what would you do in this range?
This range is tough, honestly. I mean, Dylan Wu was the first one that stuck out to me, but like you said, I mean, it's so high owned. So I actually took a little bit of time to try to find lesser owned guys, and 3 of them popped for me. The unfortunate part is that 2 of them that I thought were going to be lesser owned are not. Those 3 guys for me are Cheston Hadley. He has good course history here. He's been pretty decent lately. Kellen Tarrant has been a little bit better lately too. I was kind of hoping that nobody would talk about him, and it seems like everyone's talking about him. And then the last one is Justin Lauer. I thought nobody would talk about him, and Fantasy Nationals showing him at 9.6% already.
Yeah, I mean, I do not have him, but I love that you pulled out Tarrant because he's one of my favorite plays. I did not bet him yet. I was kind of leaving a few bucks on the table, but he's made 5 of his last 6 cuts. He's gaining on approach a lot. He sucks as a putter, but he also finished 6th place here last year. So I think Tarrant is a fantastic player.
Well, Justin Lauer, so I was looking at kind of easier tournaments like you mentioned earlier. RBC Canadian, he finished 25th. Rocket Mortgage last week, he finished 8th. He's been doing it with the putter a lot recently, which worries me a little bit, but I feel like, I don't know if this is going to be a putting contest. His best surface is bent grass, so he's interesting to me at 7,000.
I was just trying to find him to star him on my list of 7. That makes it easier. 7,000. There's a couple other names I wanted to bring up. We talked about Carson Young a bunch earlier about when we were talking Cam Young. Another name that I think is mispriced at 7,200. He should have been in that 78, 79, 82. I know he didn't do great at the Rocket Mortgage last week, but the guy's made a lot of cuts, especially in the weaker fields. He's another guy that's probably going to be pretty popular. If you had to pick one of these overly popular guys in this 7K range, who would you feel the most confident? Oh, Kyle, that's I just said 2 names I wanted to talk about, and Kyle just drops the other name I want to talk about. Carson Young, or which one would you feel the most confident? Wu, Young, out of these higher owned guys?
Dylan Wu for me for sure. But then I just worry. Like if ownership wasn't a thing, I'd say Wu for sure. But him being at 19% just worries me.
All right, let me bring up the name that I butcher every time I bring it up on this show. Akshay
Bhatia.
Yeah, Bhatia. Is it Bhatia?
Bhatia, yeah.
Potato, Bhatia, patata, whatever it is. Can I say that I think he is completely overrated as a golfer?
Yes.
He is 7,100 on this thing. I don't know what his odds are because there was 0 chance I was betting him. He might have been probably in that 80 to 90 to 1 range probably. But this guy, for all the hype he had this year, 2nd at Puerto Rico, 4th at Mexico, which are weak fields.
But that's it. Like no other success at all.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 missed cuts surrounding a 56 and a 68. There's nothing good that pops for me about him at all. And there's going to be a lot. I know. Let me pull up his ownership. I remember it being not great, 5.6%. For some reason, I just feel that number is going to jump up as the week goes on.
Higher too.
Yeah, I think it pops big time over the course of the week, and yeah, I don't buy him. Kyle's saying he's 90 to 1 right now. Dude, I'm staying away from him.
I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe 120
with him, everybody likes him. So like he's not even
he's girlfriend story and the shirtless pose and stuff like that.
When you find a better play that at a lot cheaper, ownership, I feel like you can.
Well, I'm going to tell you the better play. I mean, he's 7,100, and y'all making fun of me on social media for my Scott Piercy play. But Scott Piercy at that, I mean, he's got 2 top 15s at this event, the John Deere. I know he missed a cut at it last year. But overall, he's played solid. He's 7K. He's 19th at Byron Nelson, made the cut in Mexico, Punta Cana, Puerto Rico, contended at all those lesser events. He's made 4 of his last 5 cuts. And he's gained strokes on approach 4 of the last 5 weeks. 4 of the last 5 weeks gained on putting. 4 of the last 5 weeks gained strokes tee to green. I know he's not a flashy play, but Scott Piercy at 150 to 1 at 7K and ownership at 3%. I'm telling you, I don't need to be the 6K whisperer because Scott Piercy at 7K can make you a lot of money this week.
Let's just say that you're not talking about DraftKings plays. You bet Scott Piercy.
I bet Scott Piercy. He will be. I guarantee you, because there's a free roll this week. So 21 lineups instead of 20 this week. I guarantee you, Scott Piercy is in 7 or 8 of my lineups this week.
Wow.
I'm taking the flyer. You're gonna all be laughing at me or begging me for money when Scott Piercy is in the top 5 come Sunday afternoon.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
No comment.
Yeah. Any of these other names down here you like that you want to touch on?
No.
Ben Martin, Nate Lashley, their names I got. A lot of people are talking Lucas Glover. I don't really get into him much, but no.
Yeah, no, not for me. No, sorry.
Gotcha. Anybody in the 6K? Because I told you I've only written 2 names down in this 6K.
I hate the 6K. I don't think I can play anyone in the 6K, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, I'll give you my 2 that I'm going to play. And one finished 30th at this event last year. He used to be a guy that played really well in weak fields. It's another one of those names that I just don't pronounce very well. Satasha Kodaira. KOD. I just call him KOD. He's made 4 of his last 5 cuts. Not great finishes, but he has. He's only lost strokes on approach once since the middle of last year. Okay. He's gained strokes putting the last couple weeks out there. KOD's a guy not to win the event, but if you need somebody under 7K, he's 6,800. I think you could get behind a couple clicks on KOD. And then I had to do research because I didn't even really know. I know the name, but I've never really played him. He's missed 4 of his last 5 cuts. But in between that was 2 good finishes at weak fields. And I guess he didn't play the John Deere Open. I thought he did. He's got no history here. But he had 18th at Mexico, 50th at Punta Cana, 23rd at Puerto Rico, 29 at Honda. So he's had some good events. And that's Kevin Roy, 6,300.
I don't hate that one.
It's not a great play. I'm not telling you he's going to win. I wouldn't bet him. But if you really need to dig down the board, I think you could get behind a Kevin Roy at 6,300.
He's talented. I mean, that's what you're going for. I mean,
you're looking for a high risk, high reward, 2 clicks maximum,
right.
Maybe 3.
Right.
It's a guy that can do some damage.
So I have 2. They're a little bit disgusting, but Carl Jan, I think, is one of them. He's done 14th last week at the Rocket Mortgage, 18th at the RBC Canadian. He's probably more talented than anybody else in this range. And then the other one, if you're looking for just a miscut, would be Kelly Craft. I'm sorry, not a miscut, a made cut would be Kelly Craft. How
far down the board is Craft this week?
6,400.
Okay.
I think he's made 4 cuts in a row here, and he's made 2 cuts in a row overall. So I don't hate that either.
Did you notice it's a weak field and there's a name I didn't even mention this week?
Duff Daddy?
Sean O'Hare, my guy. Because Sean O'Hare has been so awful this year. I mean, he's always bad, but he's been extra bad. 3 of the last 4 weeks he's missed the cut, including at Mexico. The guy has just played atrocious this year. He does have one top 20, but it's a bad week when I'm not even playing my Sean O'Hare.
Yeah, no. It's terrible.
Yeah. So this is good. I know it's the 4th of July weekend, and I know, there's,
Don't say it. I'm just kidding. Nothing, I'm kidding.
It's the 4th of July weekend. So a holiday. I don't know if you're rushing to do your things. Have you made any bets or anything like that? Because I just rushed. I made my bets right away. I pretty much locked my card down pretty quickly this week just because tomorrow's going to be shot. Wednesday's going to be shot. I want to get as much work done as possible. Have you made any bets?
No, I have not, but I think the only sure one would be Scott Piercy. That's the only one that I got for sure. No,
yeah,
I have not made any bets yet.
Okay, I have made my 6 outrights. Obviously, Scott Piercy. Everybody knows Scott Piercy's going to win 150 to 1. I did make my biggest bet of the week on Eric Cole at 30 to 1, and I think that if anybody wants to get really good value, you don't need to go for the favorites at Denny McCarthy or Russell Henley. I think Eric Cole 30 to 1. I bet you that number dropped. If anything,
yeah, that's really good odds.
Yeah, I got him 30 to 1 this morning when I did my model. I bet Mark Hubbard, Hubba at 60 to 1, Ches Reavie 65 to 1, Carson Young 80 to 1, Nate Lashley 100 to 1. They're my bets this week. But I really think you've seen at the John Deere Classic, a lot of up and comers get their first win. Jordan Spieth, Bryson DeChambeau, when they were wasn't Jordan Spieth like 19 when he won this event or something like that? He was really young. I think this is the week that somebody like Eric Cole or Carson Young or Tyler Moore or one of these young up and comers gets their first win this week.
No, I can see that.
Okay. What do you got planned for the 4th of July tomorrow?
Hanging out with the little man, doing some fireworks. Yeah.
I was going to say, does the little man like fireworks?
He does, but then he gets tired at like 9 o'clock. So
and it's too light out to do fireworks.
You're right. So he gets upset about it. Just like New Year's Eve. He's like, I just want to go to bed, but I want to stay up till midnight.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this disaster of a Fairway to Heaven episode.
You want to talk about your 4th of July first? What are you doing?
What's my 4th of July is going to be here. Do my morning show. The 4th of July is not my favorite holiday, so really won't talk about it much on the air. But personally, it's not my favorite. So we'll stick around the house. I got some Italian sausages ready to grill up. Might get some crab legs or something, some crabs for tomorrow. And just the wife and I will hang at home tomorrow.
Nice.
We'll watch Joey Chestnut eat hot dogs and see if he body slams anybody tomorrow, and that's about it.
That's about it.
Do you remember that from last year? Do you watch Joey Chestnut?
Yeah.
When some animal rights activist stormed the stage and he, middle of eating 80 hot dogs, body slams somebody and still dominates the crowd. Is there a greater athlete or a guy that's won more titles than Joey Chestnut?
No.
I mean, it's insane.
No, there is not.
All right. I am not betting Badia. I'm going to just mess his name up because he doesn't deserve his name said right. Kyle, if he wins, I'm going to actually personally jinx him. Just since Justin Sue's not in the field this week, I'll jinx Badia just so he doesn't win for you, okay? But we're going to wrap up Fairway to Heaven. I'll be back tomorrow morning for Trending in the AM. Everybody have a great 4th of July. Sorry for the technical difficulties that threw off the start of the show, threw off the whole show altogether. But, it happens. That's why we get paid the big bucks here. For Jason Sullivan, I am Phil Stiefel. We'll see you next week. We're going overseas next week, right? Isn't the Scottish Open next week?
Scottish, yeah.
Yeah, Scottish Open, then the final major of the year. The season's almost over at this point. So we're going to wrap it up right there for the night. We'll talk to you guys next week, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning on Trending in the AM.